Hey Glam Fam, welcome back. As you can tell from the title, today I'm going to be talking about Married to Medicine because I am officially caught up. I've caught up with all 9 seasons. I was able to get through it pretty quickly. I was surprised. It's not as many episodes in the season as it is with the Housewives, and it's 9 seasons, so it wasn't that many. So yeah. I got through it pretty quickly and I was into it. I definitely enjoyed it. So now that I'm caught up with everything, I decided to do a video to give my thoughts on the show, the cast members, and now I can really give my opinion on how I feel about Phaedra joining the ladies and the dynamic that they have going on. Yeah, so that's pretty much what this video is gonna be, and I think I'm gonna review season 10 because I definitely enjoyed the show. So y'all let me know if y'all want me to review it. I might make a poll. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just make a poll. Don't comment under this video at all. I'm gonna make a poll and y'all go vote. So yeah, let's get into the video. I don't have any notes. I'm just gonna be giving my thoughts because I just finished watching it, so all of my thoughts are fresh. I don't really need to write anything down. So this video may not be as organized, but yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so first I'll just start, I guess, with my thoughts on the cast. First I'm gonna start with Mariah. I know she's not on the cast, but I did know the situation because I did a reaction to the whole situation with her suing Bravo and everything, but I hadn't watched the show at that time, so I didn't really understand what was going on. I had no idea that she was pretty much iced out since season 1. I didn't know like the problems continued up until season 7. Like, that's crazy. I feel like she was pretty much fighting to get back into the group for 7 seasons straight. I mean, she did have friends. Like, eventually she made up with Toya after they fought. Y'all, that fight will forever be funny when Mariah clocked her with that purse.
Let me tell you.
But yeah, so eventually they made up, and Toya was a pretty good friend to her. She defended her heavily. She never liked the Quad. Once they fell out, they never got back right. Jackie never really spoke up, so she didn't have a side, and Simone is a flip-flopper. Simone be playing the fence, but we'll get to Simone. Mariah didn't really have any friends, and I feel like she always felt left out with the group, because people liked her, but they never really spoke up for her. But Mariah definitely defended herself. Like, she wasn't like this poor, helpless little girl. Well, in a way, she kind of was. I felt bad for Mariah the entire time she was on the show. And knowing that, like, she created the show, like, it was her idea, and they pretty much brought her on the show just to kick her off and take off with her idea. Like, that's what I feel like it was. Like, it was really messed up how they did her, in my opinion. I really liked Mariah. I hate how they did her. I would have loved to see her on the show. She is hilarious. When she get mad, that face she make when she get mad. I thought Mariah was hilarious. I hate how they did her, but I'm glad that everything worked out with the legal situation. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Mariah. I really liked her. I don't think there's any chance of her coming back on the show, even though it's like her show, kind of. But, you know, I'm glad everything worked out for her. Okay, so moving on. Next. Let's do Dr. Contessa. Okay, so I was kind of on the fence about Dr. Contessa at first, but I ended up really liking her. I like how she called everybody out. She called Dr. Jackie out. Nobody ever had called Jackie out at that point. And Contessa was really the first person to call her out when she felt shaded by her. And she didn't really care who had a problem with it. You know, Heavenly definitely had a problem with it. But she didn't care because she said what she said. And I definitely liked Contessa a lot after that. I hated when her and Toya were going at it because they came on as friends, but I was glad when they kind of got back together. At first, I was a little iffy about her relationship with Scott because when they was going through their issues, I didn't really like how Scott was handling it. It was like, you know, one thing about this group, I feel like they all bring their marriages to the table up for discussion, and they all give advice to each other and help each other get through them. Like when they stopped Simone and Cecil from getting that divorce, like that was amazing. So that's something that I really like about them. But when Contessa and Scott were going through their issues, Scott didn't really want to hear anything, and he was very dismissive in my opinion. So I didn't really like Scott at first, but once they got through it, I think they like went to therapy or something. Like I think season 9, actually, the last season, it was like a completely different Scott. And I'm glad they worked through that, because at first I was like, I don't know why she married to this man. But, you know, I guess they were just going through a rough patch. But I'm gonna need Scott to never make another song in his life.
I'm talking 2 palm trees and the ocean breeze. I'm here to please and put your mind at ease. So what's up?
When he performed that song at the reunion. But yeah, I liked Scott and Contessa. I liked how they fit in with the group. I know she won't be returning for season 10. I'm not really surprised. If they was gonna bring Phaedra, they was gonna have to get rid of somebody. And the other ladies have been on the show since like season 1, and Heavenly came on at season 2. So they wasn't letting go any of them, and they all still bring a lot to the show. So it was gonna have to be one of the newer girls. So I'm not surprised that it was her, but I did like Contessa. Okay, so next I'm gonna talk about Anila. Anila will also not be returning for season 10. And unlike Contessa, I do not mind seeing Anila go. At first, when she came on, I actually really liked her. She came on as Toya's friend, and Toya was being a little bossy to her, so everybody assumed she was a lapdog. But she started proving herself, and she started, you know, becoming her own person, and I started liking her. But when she fell out with Toya, although I feel like Toya kind of started it, I feel like Anila kind of took it a little too far, especially with the robbery situation. Like, accusing Toya of doing that was a little too far. And she kind of pretended like she didn't have anything to do with that friend coming over to Quad's house. She said Quad invited her, which could be true, but they also showed a clip where she told her to bring up the fact that Toya cheats on her husband. So Anila's a little messy. And she be like, and when you say something to her, she be playing a victim, acting like she want everything to be cool. So I ain't really care for Anila. I didn't mind her not being asked back. I liked her at first, but I do like her husband though. I really like her husband. He seems very direct and straightforward. But I mean, y'all a package deal. Anila is the castmate, so yeah, I didn't mind Anila leaving. Okay, so now I'm gonna get to the Fab Five, and that's what they call themselves. I ain't call them that. The Fab Five is Toya, Heavenly, Quad, Jackie, and Simone. Okay, so let's start with Simone. I love Simone and Cecil's relationship. They're probably my favorite couple on the show. I love all of the marriages, to be clear. I think they're all good partners. I think they all have good marriages. There's not one marriage that I'm looking like, I think they're gonna get divorced. Like, I think they're all great for each other. But Simone and Cecil are probably my favorites. But in contrary, Simone is not necessarily my favorite. Because like I said earlier, she is a flip-flopper. And when I first started watching, I was like, oh my God, why is she always yelling? Like, I'm loud sometimes, but I know I don't be that loud.
Stop saying it. Stop saying what? Stop saying what? You stop saying what? I said it one time.
Like, ultimately, Simone knows what's right and what's wrong, but she's always going to go along with whatever the majority of the group thinks. I do like Simone because even though she does hold grudges, she does eventually get to a point where she wants to have a conversation, and she does apologize if she feels that she needs to give one. So I do like Simone. One of my favorite moments from Simone was actually when she defended Buffy, when Jackie called her out in front of all of those people.
Thing that we grow up, most of us wanting to do, you can't do. And Buffy, you can relate. You're infertile.
You know, at this time, her and Jackie were like this. So it was really shocking that Simone, well, it was really shocking to Jackie that Simone didn't have her back in that, and unfortunately that did lead to the demise of their friendship. They fell out heavy. Like, their relationship has not been the same since. But Simone was right. Like, that was just so insensitive of Jackie. I couldn't believe she did that. And, you know, while we at it, we might as well just go ahead over on to Jackie, because that was pretty much all I had to say about Simone. But overall, I do like her. So yeah, let's just go ahead and move on to Dr. Jackie. It seemed like every celebrity in Atlanta that get pregnant go to Dr. Jackie. So, you know, I already knew who she was. I had positive thoughts about her going into the show, looking at it. You know, I always saw that she was possibly, like, you know, a little passive aggressive, and she kind of hides behind that, you know, polished behavior. I kind of saw that, but when she did what she did to Buffy, it was like, wow, because she didn't even apologize for it. First of all, how do you not see something wrong as a doctor with telling somebody's personal health information on a microphone at a public event around a bunch of people that she don't even know? Like, how do you even think that's okay as a doctor, first of all? Secondly, when people bring that to you, you are just unapologetic about it, making it about you. That was just so insensitive. And I was like, she's really not, I mean, she apologized, but she didn't really apologize. And I was really taken aback. I was like, how does she not see anything wrong with that? So, you know, honestly, Jackie's not necessarily one of my favorites either, especially when it came to the Mariah situation. And she just refused to speak up. If y'all remember that scene where Quad had accused Mariah of doing drugs or something. So she took a test, and it was Toya, Mariah, and Jackie. They were all sitting together, and they had the test results. And Jackie didn't even want to get involved, so much to the point where she didn't even want to look at the results. So yeah, I do think that Jackie is a little phony. I don't really know how I feel about Dr. Jackie. Who's next? We'll just do Heavenly next. Since Heavenly defends Jackie like she is Mother Teresa. Jackie does no wrong in Heavenly's eyes. That's crazy to me. Heavenly is a mean girl, but she's also crazy and funny. And surprisingly, she has been the only one without a scandal regarding her marriage in the group. Let me think. I mean, because that stuff Mariah said wasn't really valid in my opinion. There was never a point in time where there was something going on in the blogs regarding Heavenly and Damon. So yeah, out of all of the ladies, Simone, Jackie, Contessa. What did Contessa? I don't think Contessa had nothing, but they was going through stuff in front of the group. Yeah, I think she's the only one, yeah. So from the outside, she appears to have the most solid marriage out of the group. I do like Heavenly. I like Heavenly because Heavenly is being herself. I know Heavenly is just mean, and I don't like when she attacks people, especially the Yo Mama thing. But see, I kind of already knew about that stuff, because if anybody remembers, like if anybody has been subscribed to me for a while, y'all remember there was a time where I tried to do a reaction to Dr. Heavenly, but it got blocked when I tried to upload it. So I had already seen all of these moments from Heavenly. I didn't know how crazy she was going into the show, and I just thought she was entertaining. And, you know, she did open up about her life, and she went back to her home. She talked about why she is the way she is, and I feel like she genuinely tries. You know, you can't expect people to change overnight, but I have seen some growth in Heavenly. I don't think she said Yo Mama in a minute, actually. And you know, she's herself. I like people who are themselves, whether you do things that people don't agree with or not. I genuinely feel like Heavenly is herself, and you can't do anything but respect somebody who is not afraid to be themselves. Because she gets criticized for it a lot, and she's still herself. Now, what I will say is she needs to stop running her mouth about her friends. Maybe that show that she does is not a good idea because she's on the show. You know, I can get up here and talk crap about them because I don't know these ladies. But she's a cast member. She can't do all of that and then go film a scene with him. And then call them her friends, you know, and expect to have meaningful relationships with them. But that's another reason I like Contessa, because I feel like Contessa was probably the first person to really make her realize that when she kind of ambushed her with that movie. And I do love her relationship with Damon. I think Damon is a very stand-up guy. Her daughter, Alora, she is just so gorgeous. I like Heavenly overall. Okay, so who's next? Let's do Toya. Okay, Toya is a firecracker. Let me just say, these women get away with so much fighting on this show. I had no idea. It's so crazy how these women are just allowed to fight on a show like this, because when you watch like Atlanta or Potomac, when one little fight happens, they get crucified. And it's not a lot, but I was just surprised. And honestly, I was surprised that they argued this much. I did not know that these women was going to be arguing this much. They go at it like it's crazy. I didn't really care for Toya in the first season because I kind of felt like she started that fight with Mariah. Which, whatever. I mean, it's over with. They're friends now. That fight is still funny, but, you know, I didn't really care for Toya in her first season. But I did really grow to like her. I feel like she's a very loyal friend, but she's also very bossy. And she's very mean to her friends. And if I'm not mistaken, she is an Aries. And she totally acts like one. She is just very bossy. But she's very fun, very extroverted, you know, a loyal friend, but she can be very mean at times, even to her husband.
Shut up. I remember when Mariah told me, I didn't say that. You putting words in my mouth when you start putting words in my mouth. You just told me that. Boy, you better put that biscuit in your mouth and quit playing.
But overall, I do like Toya, even though, you know, she is trying to keep up with the Jones. And even though I watched the seasons, I really was not paying attention to how many times they moved until Andy brought it up at the reunion. They moved like, what, 6, 7 times? Like, that's crazy. I mean, it's clearly something else going on. But, you know, Aries are very secretive, you know. I think Robin's an Aries as well. And we see how she is, you know. So, yeah, they can be very secretive. So, I think something else is probably going on with that house situation. Because ain't no way you moving like, how you done moved 6 times in the past 8, 9 years? And you built one of these houses from the ground up and called it your dream home. Like, what? That's crazy. You know, but overall, I like Toya. She is, I guess, the Portia of the group, meaning that she is ready to go at any time. Like when she mushed that poor girl. What's that girl name? She was a friend. It's like, it started with an A. Let me look it up. Audra. Yes. When she mushed Audra, I was not expecting that. I like her though. And lastly in the Fab Five is Quad. Honestly, I don't really care for Quad anymore. Quad was my favorite on the first season because I feel like everybody was judging her and, you know, kind of telling her she didn't fit in. But over the years, Quad has just grown into somebody. Well, I don't know if this is somebody different. Maybe she's just showing us who she is. I don't know, but Quad just don't know how to let stuff go. That's really my biggest thing with her. It's like she is just so stubborn. It's completely fine to not let things go, to hold grudges. Like I said earlier, like Simone holds grudges, but the difference is Simone not about to be trying to have an argument about it every time she see you. Like, Quad is just, she's mean. She's worse than Heavenly, in my opinion. It kind of comes off as miserable. I don't want to call her miserable, but that's just how it comes off. It's easy for people to call her that when she acts that way. But yeah, I don't really like Quad anymore. I never liked Greg when she was married to him. I never liked him. I didn't like the way he talked to her. I don't know if that's what the change was and that's what turned her into this person, but I don't like the change. And yeah, I didn't like that marriage. So I was happy for her actually when she was going through her divorce. But yeah, I don't really like Quad. I do think it's going to be interesting because his ex-wife is gonna be on the show now. I knew that already, but again, I hadn't seen the show. So it was, I mean, I knew that sounded messy, but it really didn't move me. But now that I've seen the show, wow. So is his wife a cast member or is she like a friend? I don't know. But yeah, that's messy. But last we saw Quad and Greg, they kind of left on good terms, right? Like when they had that talk at the reunion, they seemed good. But this is gonna get messy. And Quad was recently in negotiation for her contract, right? I don't even think she has her contract yet. But yeah, I don't really like Quad anymore. I feel like she was the main person who pushed Mariah out of the group. Because she was holding a grudge against her for whatever she said, or she felt like Mariah looked down on her or something. I did not like that. I hated the way they did Mariah, and I feel like Quad was mainly the one who did it. Yeah. Mariah tried to make up with her on several occasions, and she just did not want to do it. Quad is very, very, very stubborn. I thought I was stubborn, and I am. But like I said, I'm not finna keep picking fights with you about it. Like, if I'm still mad at you, most likely I ain't trying to talk to you. I ain't got nothing to say with you. I'm not finna keep fighting with you. Like that, she just be picking. And she accused Mariah of being on drugs, and she set up that fan telling her some tea. Like, I don't do that either. Like, I'm not gonna make nothing up about you. When I don't like somebody, I just don't like you. I'm just not gonna talk to you. That's it. She be doing too much. Like, it's childish. So yeah, I don't really care for Quad. Okay, so I think that's everybody. Yeah, I think that's everybody. So now on to Phaedra. So next season, Contessa and Anila are out, and it will be Toya, Jackie, Simone, Heavenly, possibly Quad, we don't know. Dr. G's new wife, and possibly Audra, I don't know, and Phaedra. Now, what do I think now about Phaedra being added to this group? I think Phaedra will fit in with the ladies. But like I said in the beginning, these ladies are very open with each other. And a lot of their issues with Quad came from the fact that she was very closed off, especially when it came to her divorce. She didn't want to talk to anybody. And Phaedra kind of has a tendency to be like that. So I feel like in order for her to really get along and bond with these ladies, she's going to have to be completely different than how she was on Atlanta. All of that sneaky stuff is not going to fly over here. Heavenly will probably be the first person to call her out. And probably Toya too. I feel like Phaedra is just going to have to come on here and be very open. I didn't watch her on Dubai, so I don't know how different she is. She was also on Marriage Boot Camp. I didn't watch her on that either. But, I mean, I guess to go on a show like that, you got to be open about your relationship in some sense. So maybe she has changed a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. But that's my thoughts now. I do think she would fit in well with the group. I'm actually really excited to see how she meshes with them, but I feel like in order for her to get along with them, she gonna have to be open. She can't be being secret and private, because this isn't that kind of group. Like, they demand that you tell them stuff. I'm excited for season 10. I'm excited to see how Phaedra and her new bae, whoever this bae is, we finna see. I'm excited to see how they fit into the group. Another thing I really love about this show, if you watch my channel, y'all know I always say this about Atlanta. I always say that I miss the husband relationship. The husbands used to have their separate bonds outside of the ladies. And that is something that I really appreciate on this show. And also, I really, really like how at the reunions, the husbands have their own segment. And with each segment, they have the group backstage watching on the TV. And stuff be going down backstage too. Like, y'all know we got a lot of stuff backstage with Simone versus Toya, when she called her raggedy and broke.
This is not this you can't. Are you being a good example with your raggedy broke ass? Are you leasing houses and leasing cars? Trying to prove
when Heavenly drew on her picture. When, who was it that got into it backstage, but they kind of fixed it? Was it Simone and Jackie? Or was it Simone and Heavenly? It was somebody who got into it backstage, but then they kind of fixed it by the time they got on stage. I think it was Simone and Heavenly. Can't remember. But yeah, stuff be going on backstage. And I like how they have the husbands watch the TV while they on stage and have the wives watch and vice versa. Well, I guess, I don't know if they do that at all reunions, but they don't show it like that, like they do on Married to Medicine. I like how they do that. I think that's pretty much all I have to say. This was a long video, because I went through each lady. I think I said everything. And also, I will be posting a poll. I want y'all to head over to my community page and vote on whether you want me to do reviews to Married to Medicine or not. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this super long video. Let me know what you thought about everything in the comment section down below. Stay happy, healthy, and all of that good stuff. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.